most AI here gives you the fish. CodeClimbAI teaches you how to fish. So instead of giving you a quick fix for your code, CodeClimbAI prioritizes active learning and finds the highest priority issue with a piece of code that you present it, and then frames questions with active learning opportunities for you to discover on your own what's wrong about your code, to then fix it, at which point it will move on to either another issue or offer you another example or tell you to bring in some other code of yours. So with all of that said, maybe we should get into a little example here. So let's dive into actually getting to use this thing. So when you come onto the page, we talk about how you can transform your own code into a learning opportunity, and the AI and Claude specifically is going to help you do this. So you begin by hitting the Let's Start Learning button. And the first thing that you have the chance to do is you can put in some of your own code here, or if you don't have your own code, you can get an example. So let's start with the getting an example here. All right, so it's given us a function here using pandas that seems potentially not perfectly optimized. So we submit our code, and instead of telling us what the answer is or how to fix it, Claude is going to go and give us a multiple choice question about this scenario. And it's saying, looking at the code with df.iterows here, which statement is most accurate about its performance? It says, A, iterows is the fastest way to process pandas data frames. B, iterows is convenient but slow. Vectorized operations are much faster. C, iterows performance is similar to vectorized operations. Or D, iterows should always be used for data processing. And we can just respond with A, B, C, or D. And I think the answer is B, so I'm going to put that in and enter it. And it says, great job. Now, can you apply it? So if I needed a hint, we could put in hint here. And here's a level 1 hint. Think about how pandas handles data operations. When you're working with the data frame, it is usually necessary to loop through rows one by one. Or is it usually necessary to loop through rows one by one to perform calculations? And consider how pandas vectorized operations might help here. Okay, I think I'm ready to try and solve this. So instead of doing iterows here, I'm going to try and use more data frame level functionality, and I'm going to do, instead of row price, so here we have our results, and we're going over every single row and taking the price times 0.2 plus the tax. And instead, what we can do is we can just take the whole price column times 0.2, and we can add, oops, not row, but the tax column to that. And then we can actually just get rid of all of this right here. And if we submit it, outstanding. You've created interview level optimized code. Okay? And so now we can look at a next challenge. So, we can choose another random example. We could do something like this. And see, this is a little bit buggy at this point, so we'll see. I think it's going to tell us, yeah, it's already interview optimized. That's not exactly right. So I'm just going to restart this right now. And I'm going to paste in some of my own code from a HackerRank challenge. Some not optimized code, and it was building snakes and ladders, try to figure the quickest path here. So I'm going to throw this in here, and we're going to submit. And Claude tells us, what if? So this is how this is working. Is essentially, I designed this so that Claude is going to look at your code. It's going to decide, what is the main issue? What's the first thing that we should focus on? And then it's going to decide what sort of question, would be most helpful for active learning, and gave it a few different types of questions. You have multiple choice questions, you have true or false questions, fill in the blank, and this is a what if, and this is one of the options that it can choose from. It says, what would happen if you had to process 10,000 items instead of 100 with this code? It's a little bit ugly here. It's okay. We're demonstrating a concept. But I'd say, okay, I think it'd be slow, maybe. I hope that you can see this. Let me just double. Now you can see it. Okay. And I'm going to hit send. Interesting perspective. Think about it differently. Sometimes seeing the optimal approach helps clarify the concept. So I can try again with a hint, or I can explore this with a different example. So I say, explore this with a different example. And here it goes. Let's try a smaller example to understand the core algorithm better. Imagine we have a 5x5 board. How would you trace the first few moves in the smaller version, considering you can roll 1 to 6 each turn? And then you can ask for a hint. So this is the basic pedagogical loop that we're using here with CodeClimbAI, where we're trying to first figure out what's the main issue, what's the best question that you can ask to promote active learning, and then giving a number of options to the learner as well. What would work best for them in that moment? Do they want a hint? Do they want a toy example that sort of demonstrates the concept that you need to know to understand the main issue? And then when you resolve that main issue, it will either discover a secondary issue or decide that your code is good enough and ask for more code, or see if you want another example, and so forth. And so this is the core value add of CodeClimbAI. The idea here is that we are, instead of using AI to write our code for us, we are using it to help us become better coders. And that's why here, CodeClimbAI, we say, don't code faster, code better.